Basketball fans, welcome back. So today we'll be having the Equity Hawks versus the REG women's team facing off in the last game of the day. This game will be at 2200 hours. That's 10 p.m. where I'm at. And yeah, man. So as promised, I said I'm going to do a match review for these two teams because this is actually one of the toughest tests that the Equity Bank have to face, and the actually the one thing I want to mention is REG and Equity, they met in the Zone 5 championships, and REG beat the Equity Hawks in the semis 76-61, as you can see there. And both teams have played two games, and both teams have just shown like they can be able to play together. And I feel like different teams yield different results. As you can see, REG are just shooting from the top, for the top. They made some two key transactions. They had two WNBA players join the roster, and that has made them quite one of I can even say the favorites of this contest. And even going even into the head-to-head matchups, you're seeing the Equity Hawks. They had a very piss poor performance against Interclub. They beat Aspark yesterday. Even covered it on this channel, talking about their performance in there. And given those situations, you can even see the REG team. They also played two games. They had that game they played against. They had two games in there. They played against Interclub. Then they played against another team in there, and or they played against Overdose Up. I believe it's Overdose Up, yeah. So you can even see them in the group, and they're topping the group right now. You can see they have 2 wins, 0 losses. Interclub 1 win, 1 loss. And this loss came at the hands of REG. Equity Bank, they lost to Interclub. So that win from Interclub comes from the Equity Hawks. Aspark are yet to win a game. Then there's the Overdose Up station. So the REG team, they blew out Overdose. Yeah, they Overdose Up. They beat them 86-45 to open up. Then the game that they were tested, I can see this is the game that showed that REG can be able to like play at that level, because Interclub, this is a team that made the Africa Women's Cup finals last year, and they were that team that brought the heat. But in this case, you're talking about Equity versus REG. So REG beat the Equity Hawks in the semis to make it to the finals, and Equity Hawks, they had to settle for third place when they beat a Ugandan team in there. But that's not here or there. But looking at even the head-to-head stats, you could see the Equity Hawks, they don't shoot well from the field, and this is coming from these stats are coming in from like the way they performed poorly in the Interclub game. So they had a stats drop there: 48% on 2-point field goals, 28% from deep, and 63% from the line. So you can see off the bat, statistically on paper, REG just beat the Equity Hawks in there. And even in the defensive rebounds, offensive rebounds, you could see as much as both teams are like neck and neck in there, it's just like a even competition, because REG have the size and they are elite, and they have an elite team in there, and their team is just quite solid. You can't just compare Equity and REG like that, because you can see the quality that is on the roster. Then even in the key stats, you could see REG are they just get the nod when it comes to points from turnovers, fast break points, second chance points. You can see that they trail to the Equity Hawks, but points in the paint, majority of the time I've seen a lot of points that REG are getting. Of course, they are driving inside, but also they get the occasional three. But majority of them, you're able to utilize them inside shots pretty well. Our bench got involved, especially in this game, in the Equity Hawks game they play against Aspark. And yeah, I mean they have tried to like have a bounce back game. The Equity Hawks, they had a hellish game against Interclub where they got brutally exposed, and this is the game that I can say kind of shook them a lot. And not to mention, like, even like the way like they looked in that game, they looked like a very below average team. and the interclub team just showed the blueprint on how to beat the Equity Hawks with that high press. And given those limitations that the Equity Hawks had, they tried to bounce back against the Aspark team. I don't feel like Aspark are that of a threat, because in one game that they have played, they got beat by the Equity Hawks, and they didn't look like a threat in there, and they got beat in there. So looking at the Equity Hawks, they have not been tested. A team like REG, their first game, I can say the overdose up team was a weak team, and I don't see that as a threat in how they're played. But if you look at the interclub game, this is the game that showed like they have what it takes to be able to compete. And this was actually one of the hardest games I've seen, because you can see REG number one and Interclub number two. So in this group B, I feel like these are the two teams that can go the distance and be able to show they can pull each other's weight. But the Equity Hawks, I don't think they have a chance in this game. And I picked the REG women's team to beat the Equity Hawks in convincing fashion. I don't think that they have the ability to beat them. So yeah, that's just the tail of the tape in there statistically. And considering the fact that the REG team have a mental advantage towards the Equity Hawks, considering the fact that they beat them in the semis, I don't think the Equity Hawks stand a chance in this game. This is the last game of the day, so I'll just be waiting patiently for it. And with my analysis and commentary, I will analyze the game as usual on this channel. So please be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you get notified. And I'm out. Peace.